PAH and HCAs, these are carcinogens, really, really nasty ones. So although those crispy burnt ends kind of like remind us of the barbecue, the fun times, I can tell you that those are the most dangerous parts of the meat to eat.
We often hear about foods that can benefit our health, but what about the everyday foods that might be quietly harming us? It's a scary thought, but it's something we need to talk about. Dr. William Li, a world-renowned medical expert, has spent years researching the impact of diet on our health, and his findings? Stay with us to find out. In this video, we're breaking down 7 foods that could be doing more harm than good. According to Dr. Li, these foods can trigger carcinogenesis, a process that contributes to the development of cancer in the body. It's time to take a closer look at what we're putting on our plates, and you might be surprised by the last food item on our list. Are you ready to make some changes for the better? Let's get started. 1. Processed meats. Bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats. These are things that most of us enjoy regularly. They're tasty, easy to prepare, and let's be honest, who doesn't love a good bacon sandwich? But here's the thing. Processed meats are one of the biggest culprits when it comes to cancer risk. To keep meats on the shelf longer and make them look appealing, they're treated with chemicals like nitrates and nitrites, which are known to be cancer-causing. Research shows that processed meats are strongly linked to colorectal cancer, but it's worth noting that they might also be connected to other types of cancer. So, what can you do? I get it. Completely cutting out processed meats might seem impossible, and maybe it's not something you can do overnight. But what about starting small? Try swapping out your breakfast bacon for something like avocado or a handful of nuts. If you're making sandwiches, think about using grilled chicken or even roasted veggies instead of that slice of deli ham. 2. Red meat. Beef, lamb, and pork are the go-to proteins for many of us. Red meat is rich in protein and loaded with nutrients like iron and zinc, but it's also something we need to be careful with. The issue with red meat comes down to a couple of things. First, there's the heme iron, which is good for you in small amounts but can cause problems in larger quantities. Heme iron can promote the formation of N-nitroso compounds in your gut, which have been linked to cancer. Also, the way you cook it matters. High-temperature cooking methods like grilling or frying can create compounds called HCAs, heterocyclic amines, and PAHs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are also linked to cancer. Now, we're not saying you need to give up your steak nights, but maybe think about moderation. Try to limit red meat to a couple of times a week and pay attention to portion sizes. Sometimes just a smaller piece is enough. Also, consider how you cook it. Instead of grilling or frying, try baking, stewing, or slow cooking. These methods are less likely to create those harmful compounds. 3. Sugary beverages and foods. Most people already know that sugar isn't great for their waistlines or teeth, but did you know it could also increase the risk of cancer? It's not just the sugar itself that's the issue, but what it does to our bodies. High sugar intake leads to obesity, and obesity is a well-known risk factor for several types of cancer, including breast, colon, and pancreatic cancers. Excess sugar can also lead to higher insulin levels and increased inflammation, both of which create a more favorable environment for cancer cells to grow. So, what can you do? Start by making small changes like drinking water or unsweetened tea instead of soda, or having fruit for dessert instead of that piece of cake. You can also try cutting back on sugar in your recipes. Often you can reduce the sugar by 1/3 or more without noticing much difference. Enjoying the video? Show your support by smashing the like button, dropping a comment, and subscribing to the channel to become part of our growing community and never miss a new upload. 4. Refined carbohydrates. Refined carbohydrates are everywhere, from white bread and pasta to pastries and many snack foods. But here's what you might not know. Dr. William Li explains that these types of carbs have been stripped of their nutrients, leaving behind a product that's high in calories but low in anything beneficial. Like sugar, refined carbs can lead to obesity and high insulin levels, both of which are linked to an increased risk of cancer. These foods also cause rapid spikes in blood sugar, which can lead to insulin resistance, a condition that's also associated with cancer. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up carbs entirely. The key is choosing the right kinds. Instead of white bread, go for whole grain options. Swap out regular pasta for whole wheat or even veggie-based alternatives. And when it comes to snacks, think about reaching for something with more fiber and nutrients, like nuts or whole fruits. Small changes can make a big difference in the long run. 5. Alcohol. Alcohol is a big part of social life for many people, whether it's a glass of wine with dinner or beer with friends. But while moderate drinking is often considered harmless and even beneficial in some cases, it's important to understand the risks when it comes to cancer. Alcohol is linked to several types of cancer, including breast, liver, mouth, throat, and esophageal cancers. Now, it's not just heavy drinking that's the problem. Even moderate consumption can increase your risk. Alcohol can damage your DNA, and it also raises estrogen levels, which is why it's particularly associated with breast cancer. So what's the solution? If you enjoy drinking, try to keep it moderate. Think of it as a treat rather than a daily habit. The general guideline is to stick to 1 drink a day for women and 2 for men, but even less is better. Also, try to have alcohol-free days during the week and explore other ways to relax. You could try some herbal teas, mocktails, or just a glass of water with a slice of lemon. 6. Artificial additives and preservatives. We all rely on convenience foods from time to time. They're quick, easy, and they last a long time thanks to artificial additives and preservatives. But while these ingredients might make life easier, they could also be contributing to cancer risk. Some artificial additives, like certain food colorings and preservatives, have been linked to cancer in animal studies, and while the evidence in humans is less clear, it's enough to make us think twice. These chemicals can cause damage at the cellular level, leading to changes that might promote cancer development over time. It's difficult to avoid all additives and preservatives, but you can reduce your exposure by eating more wholesome, unprocessed foods. Try cooking at home more often, where you have control over what goes into your food. When you do buy packaged foods, take a quick look at the label and try to choose options with fewer, more natural ingredients. Your body will thank you. 7. High-fat diets. Fats are a necessary part of our diet, but not all fats are created equal. Diets that are high in unhealthy fats, like those found in fried foods, certain baked goods, and processed snacks, can increase your cancer risk. But what makes them dangerous? Diets high in unhealthy fats can lead to obesity, which is a major risk factor for several cancers. They also tend to promote inflammation in the body, which can create an environment where cancer cells thrive. Additionally, some studies suggest that high-fat diets may directly promote the growth of certain types of cancer, particularly in the breast and colon. So, instead of focusing on cutting fat altogether, aim to replace unhealthy fats with healthier ones. For example, use olive oil or avocado oil instead of butter for cooking. Snack on nuts and seeds instead of chips. And try to include more omega-3 fatty acids in your diet, which are found in foods like salmon, flax seeds, and walnuts. These healthy fats can help reduce inflammation and lower your cancer risk. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to check out these videos.